I'm Tim Scallon, registered dietitian.
And I'm Manuel Marini, executive chef.
Well, welcome to another Memorial Cooking Innovations. Chef Manny, you know, this month of March is National Nutrition Month, and so the theme this year is Eat Right with Color. And isn't it interesting that the colors in foods, those foods that have the most color in them, also have the most nutrient density?
Well, that's good to know.
And so tell us what we're making today.
Well, we're going to start off because we're coming into spring, so we thought, you know, let's make a nice salad.
Yes.
But the whole show is going to be about making dressing.
Ooh,
right?
okay.
So we're going to we chose a nice raspberry vinaigrette.
And you know, isn't it a shame we so often just take that shortcut and buy a bottle of salad dressing? I think what you're going to see today is how easy these dressings are to make.
And most ingredients are at home.
Yep. Yep.
Instead of you have your oil, you have your vinegars, you have all the other little stuff, why go buy a dressing when you can make it at home and have fun with it?
And you'll pay 3 times the price.
Exactly.
And when you make your own dressings, you're controlling the sodium and you're balancing the flavors.
Exactly. So
Okay.
we're going to do that.
Okay.
And then we're going to do lasagna. Typical lasagna, but we put a twist to it.
Okay.
Now, you
All right.
asked me earlier, is it something original or is it something traditional? I couldn't tell you, but I'm sure it's out there. But we decided that we're going to do a polenta lasagna, which is a traditional, polenta is traditional Italian. And instead of using noodles, we're using polenta and layering it together. So that'll be fun.
So we're combining 2 traditional Italian dishes into one today.
Into one.
Okay, that's
Okay.
exciting.
So,
Okay,
and it's fun. It's easy, and I guarantee you that everyone will enjoy.
well, you know, one of the things that I've learned in working with you is to take some risks, to have some fun with food. I watch you do this in the kitchen. Of course, we talk about this all the time, and then I go home and try to do it. And it never quite comes out as good as yours, but it's still, I'm learning as I go.
Yeah, and it just takes a little practice, but
Yeah.
have fun with it, though.
Yeah,
You know?
okay. Okay.
So anyway, we're going to start off with the dressing.
All right.
Okay? So
Okay.
I got me a nice little bowl. I got the recipe that we have this month calls for fresh or frozen.
Ooh, okay.
We're using frozen.
Okay.
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 Because it's a little cheaper in the long run. You can always use what you need, and then refreeze the rest. Okay. So take as much as you want. And the flavor, you know, do you want it really raspberry or you just want it kind of smooth? So it's your choice.
And, you know, these days you can get fresh raspberries in the grocery store.
You can, and they're out there. So anyway, now one important thing is that we're going to add a little bit of mustard, and that's going to help us bond the oil and the vinegar together. Okay.
Okay, and so that was going to be a question I was going to ask you. So if I'm going to make, you know, oil and vinegar don't mix,
Right.
and so what I'm hearing you say is the mustard is going to help those to stay mixed together.
Mixed together. Better.
Okay,
so
now
what we're going to do is we're going to mix the strawberry and the mustard first, okay?
Okay, and I wanted to ask you because I remember on a past show you did a homemade dressing where you used honey in the recipe. Would it also serve as a bonding agent or no?
You know, it will, but will it hold for a good long time?
Not as well?
Not as well.
Okay.
This will hold for, and what we're doing is you got your base. What we want to do is whip it and just pour the oil slowly, okay?
Okay.
Little bit at a time.
Okay. If I tilt this so they can see, is that okay?
Oh, that'd be great. So ours is going to be nice and...
So you're just kind of incorporating, you're doing a couple of things at once. You're actually beating those berries up so that they're no longer individual berries. They just are kind of melting.
We're going to use our vinegar here.
Yeah. And you're also dispersing that oil into the berry and mustard mix. And so that's the reason you wanted to add the mustard first, huh?
Exactly.
Okay.
See, it's coming all together.
Yep. It's got a beautiful red color to it.
And that's what we want, you know. Can we maybe substitute the blueberries with blackberries, with boysenberries? Of course,
Yes.
why not?
Okay.
Okay, so now that we did that,
Okay.
we just stir it down a little bit. We're going to go ahead and add our fresh herbs, okay? Now,
Okay.
can we use dry herbs? Yes, of course we can.
Okay.
Fresh herbs is always nice.
But you know, one of the things that I've noticed in learning with you is every chance that we can use fresh instead of dried or frozen, or now these frozen berries are going to be just fine, but like the fresh herbs as opposed to the dried, or the you know, in the grocery store sometimes there's a whole array of box dinners and frozen pre-made things. and there are even TV commercials about this pre-made dinner is as good as homemade. You know, I just don't believe it, because when I see you add these fresh ingredients, that's what makes this come out so well. Would you agree?
I agree with you.
Okay.
Now, it calls for a little pinch of salt.
Okay.
You know, a pinch of, and then when we say a pinch, it's just a
Now,
pinch.
you used 2 pinches there.
The first one was very, very little.
Okay, all right. I have to watch him, you know. That's where the dietitian in me comes out.
And then we're going to use a little Splenda, okay?
Okay,
Because we
so-
want to, you know, the berries are tart.
Yes.
So we
okay.
want to make it just a little sweet. And
Okay.
it's like a little sweet and sour. So we're going to just go ahead and put a little bit of this.
There you go.
Thanks. I just got a little herb. There we go. We'll just add this. If you want to
Take
taste
that.
it, if you don't mind.
Okay.
There's a spoon
Okay.
right there. And then always taste, and then you could always add a little bit more, okay? But the color is so beautiful.
Beautiful and delicious.
Can you taste the raspberries?
I taste the raspberries, I taste the vinegar, I taste the oil. And see, that's what Chef Manny has taught us, is that as we start backing off on salt, we're making room for these other range of flavors, and that's the joy of what we do here on Memorial Cooking Innovations. Is we're not just relying anymore on salt to dominate our flavors. We want to end up with a balance.
Exactly.
Okay.
Now, we also talked about
take that.
what could I do with the leftover, or can I use the dressing for anything else? Why not a nice a raspberry marinated chicken?
Ooh, that
You know?
sounds good.
We can do pork.
Yeah, I was just thinking this. You know, we tend to pair fruit and pork sometimes, and so that is just beautiful. Look how bright that is. And you know, with this raspberry
So we can
dressing,
put it right here.
Okay.
And then, you know, you've got some raspberries. Well, if you don't mind, put a few on
Yeah,
top and
just
everything like
sprinkle
that.
on top. Just
That would
as
be
a
nice.
garnish.
And then the rest of the dressing, put it in the refrigerator, keep it for about 3 days or so. But I guarantee you, it'll be over in a couple of days. So
You know what else would go good on this salad? It just occurred to me would be maybe some walnuts, huh?
that would be nice. Some nuts in there, yes.
Mm-hmm.
So, like I said, you can use this as a marinade, a nice raspberry marinade. So something different, something new.
All right, now let me ask you this question. Okay, so you could use this on chicken, you could use it on pork. Would there be other meats you would marinate? Would you marinate a beef with this?
It would be worth a try.
Okay.
Like you said earlier, something different, something to try. Don't be afraid to try something new.
A fish. Would you ever marinate
A raspberry fish, why not?
Okay. Would you choose a mild fish or a strong flavored
But we
fish?
could also do a sauteed fish and just put it on top of our salad and sprinkle a little dressing on
be
top.
better that way, wouldn't it?
Yeah, it
okay.
would.
Okay.
All right.
All
so
right. Good.
Anyway, this is good.
So, Chef Manny, although we use the frozen strawberries in this recipe, right now at Brookshire's you can get the fresh strawberries. And, you know, Brookshire's, a celebration of food and family, sponsors our show. And you know what else I found at Brookshire's the other day was I was going to look for some other ingredients?
What's that?
Well, now they have a milk that is fortified with a plant sterol. Plant sterols it's a plant derivative. That's what we call a functional food. A functional food is something that we consume for some health benefit. And plant sterols actually lower cholesterol.
Wow.
So you've had margarines that have plant sterols in them. Well, now you can find milk with plant sterols in them. Isn't
Well,
that a
that's
cool
good.
idea?
That's good. Now we got to use it in a recipe.
Well, that's right. We'll have to develop a
Okay.
recipe where we use this plant sterol milk. Okay, so you wanted to show us how to do polenta lasagna.
Yeah, what I wanted to do was when we talked about what are we going to do this month, and
Yeah.
you know, we talked about maybe some healthy choices and stuff, which is our thing, but we want to put a twist to it.
Yep.
Now some of us, you know, we go to a restaurant, we see polenta grilled, polenta cakes, polenta, which is cornmeal, right?
Okay.
So what we're going to do, we got some cornmeal here.
Now, I want to interrupt you for just a minute because, you know, here in East Texas, you're used to seeing polenta everywhere, but a lot of people in East Texas don't know polenta. And this is a traditional Italian dish where you basically boil cornmeal and then over time, they started
by adding stuff to it, flavor to it.
Yep.
But a lot of times it's Parmesan cheese. You can
Yep.
add some sun-dried tomatoes, some fresh garlic, roasted garlic,
Maybe
some fresh
some
herbs,
mushrooms.
mushrooms,
Yep.
and then, you know, spread it on a sheet. Then you let it cool down, and then you cut it in squares, maybe grill it, saute it, fry it. I mean, there's a lot of things that you can do. We're going to use it as our base, as like if we were to use noodles. Instead, we're going to use polenta to
So you're trading a starch lasagna noodle for a starch polenta. Okay.
With a little, something fun.
Yep.
Something I want you to try.
Okay.
Because you also questioned polenta.
Yes.
And lasagna, how?
Yes.
Okay. So we got the polenta. I got a little bit of vegetable broth. You can use chicken broth, low sodium.
Yep.
I got vegetable broth. It's boiling right now. So what we're gonna do? Let me get my
and incidentally, that's low
whip
sodium.
over there, if you don't mind.
Yep.
Low sodium.
Low
yes,
sodium vegetable broth.
which has a good flavor.
Yep. It does.
So
have
you
a good
really
flavor.
don't need it. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna pour the polenta real slow, a little bit at a time, because it does thicken up. Okay, Tim.
And I noticed
And
that
you want to cook it.
And I noticed that you actually started stirring before you dropped the cornmeal.
And the reason for that is I want the liquid to move so it doesn't lump on us.
Yes. Okay.
It's nice and smooth.
You know, any starch, cornmeal, no exception, is when you add it to a hot liquid, or when you add heat to it, it's going to expand, and so that's what thickens it. Well, it does thicken up real quick. And the key to this is you want it to not lump on you. So you see how quickly he's working on this?
And you just pour a little bit at a time, just like you would when you're doing gravy or just about anything. Just pour a little bit at a time. Take your time, mix it well.
You know,
and we want it thick because we're gonna actually. There's two ways of doing it. One is to use your pastry bag, spread it down like evenly, or you could use a spatula and just
layer it.
Layer it.
And you know, an ancient name for this kind of dish would be a pulse. And a pulse is any grain that you would boil in water. And so basically, the word polenta comes from that word pulse. I didn't know that until I learned about this. I, had to learn what a polenta was.
Okay, so we're going to add a little Parmesan. That's going to be our flavor to it.
Yep.
Just this alone is wonderful. So we're going to flavor this real good.
Let me hold that for you.
If you don't mind.
Yeah. So all you've got in this is a vegetable, low-sodium vegetable broth, cornmeal, and Parmesan. Okay.
Now I have some garlic, some more fresh herbs.
Yeah.
We're gonna mix our meat. We're gonna do our meat with the little fresh tomatoes.
Okay.
Garlic, herbs. Season that up real good, and that's gonna give us more flavor to it.
Okay. So this will be a layer like the noodles, and then you'll have a layer of meat or sauce, and maybe a layer of cheese or something like that. Okay. Mm-hmm. I'm amazed at how fast that thickened up like that. Okay.
I want you to taste this real good because we want that nice Parmesano taste.
The key, one of the things I've
You're
learned
blowing
from
and
you,
I just...
I know, but you're used to this. But the key that I've learned from you is taste as you go. If you don't taste, you don't know what you got.
Because let's say, for instance, it's perfect though. Mm-hmm. The Parmesan, you taste.
Yes.
You taste the polenta. So,
and the cornmeal.
Mm-hmm. But it's mediocre. So in other words, it's almost there. You know how when you cook cornmeal, you don't... Because we're going to bake it. So we're going to finish cooking it later on.
Oh, okay.
So we're just going to prepare this. Now, if I was to, serve it as soon as it's made, I'll cook it a little longer.
Okay. So if you were going to serve this as a side dish, you would cook it. You would
cook it a little longer. Just let it cook slow and reduce it. Make sure you stir it because it will lump up on you. Okay. And this is just so good.
In Italy, they'll sometimes take this and they'll shape it into balls after they've cooked it longer, or cut it into sticks, and then fry it. They call it polenta fritta. And what does that sound like here in East Texas?
It's our hush puppies.
That's right. It's the same as a hush puppy, of course, without the Parmesan cheese.
Exactly.
That's right.
So this will be good. See, nice and smooth. I hope everybody can see that.
And there was an old there is an old-timey tradition in this part of the world called hot water cornbread. Are you familiar with hot water cornbread?
We talked about it, and no, I haven't. I haven't seen it because you told me about it.
Well, in hot water cornbread, you would take cornmeal and water, hot water, and you would thicken it up. You would do the same thing you just did, and then you would fry that in a pan with some hot oil. And so it was a way to make cornbread if you didn't have baking powder. And interestingly, baking powder is high sodium, so hot water cornbread can be a way to make a low sodium cornbread.
Good to know.
Okay, so what's the next step?
So we got 95% lean beef.
Yes.
All right.
And I want to tell you that, ground beef, you got to look for this. If you don't see it when you go to Brookshire's, if you don't see it in the meat counter.
Ask your butcher.
Yeah. Ask the guy at the counter because he'll find it for you.
He'll find it, and they have it available. So what we're going to do is let me add a little bit of oil here, just a little bit.
Okay.
This is 95%.
It's so lean, so
yes.
it's going to
So
stick.
we just need a little bit to get it going real quick. Now, when you buy the big lumps or sausage of ground beef, you want to go in there and just kind of mix it up a little bit, okay? Break it up. Okay. That's what we want to do before you
put it in the pan.
Put it in the pan. If not, you'll have big chunks.
And you don't want that.
You don't want big chunks.
Yeah. Okay.
So I just want to break this off.
Okay.
Now I'm going to throw it in here. Okay. I got a spatula here for you.
Okay, I'm going to let you take over there.
Okay. So we're going to let this brown a little bit, and then we're going to add our onions and our tomatoes.
Okay. So at this point, what you're basically doing is making a spaghetti meat sauce. Is that
Spaghetti
true?
meat sauce with all fresh ingredients.
And that's the shortcut that I want to tell you. Don't be tempted to take. Don't make this recipe with a jarred spaghetti sauce. It may be good, but it won't taste like what this tastes.
So we'll just let this brown a little bit.
We hear that from the people that come to the live Memorial Cooking Innovations that we do on the third Thursday of every month right here at Memorial. We hear them typically say how good the food is, and that's the reason. It's because you use fresh onion, fresh garlic. You don't take any of those shortcuts.
No. Well,
okay, so
it's looking pretty good, huh?
Yep, it's looking ready. So
okay, so
what's
now
next?
what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and add my onions. Okay. Nice little diced onions, and typical tomato sauce, onions, garlic, basil, fresh herbs. So that's what we're doing. Okay. So we're gonna add a little bit of this, and the reason this is good and healthy and it's gonna be a little juicy because of the fresh tomatoes. Okay. Every time we cook tomatoes, it loses its juice and stuff like that. So it'll be nice. So we're gonna add plenty of nice tomatoes. Okay.
Okay. And you've got these pretty finely chopped.
Yeah, it's just cut up and stuff. Okay, so we're just mixing this very well. It's going to start sizzling in a minute. So.
In the summertime, when you start getting these fresh from the vine tomatoes, it's a great time to make this dish because those vine-ripened tomatoes bring so much flavor into the dish. There's a sauce that I make at home that Kathy just loves, and it's a filetto sauce. And basically, it's just chopped tomatoes, a lot of chopped tomatoes, with fresh herb, fresh onion, and you just cook this down. No meat. Just cook it down until it turns into a tomato sauce. It is delicious.
I bet it is.
Yeah.
I bet it is.
So this is kind of like that, only with the beef and
we're gonna let the mushrooms cook. And the reason why I put the mushrooms kind of in the middle is because I don't want them over cooked really good because we're going to bake it in shortly.
And when you say in the middle, you mean you didn't add them first?
Yeah,
you added
I just
them
right
after
in the middle,
some of the other ingredients.
We still got a little ways to go. Okay,
yeah,
so
yeah.
We're gonna do that. Okay, so as it cooks, we're gonna add our garlic. Okay, Tim.
Yeah. Now see, here again, you're adding this garlic later.
Last, yeah, just about last, because we're gonna add our garlic to get nice flavor to it.
I thought about you the other day. I was eating at a local restaurant, and you know how sometimes they bring out olive oil with bread to dip in? Well, this particular restaurant has roasted garlic that they put in the oil. And I was thinking to myself, this would be so much better if the garlic wasn't burned. It had a real strong burn flavor.
It's a good flavor. But it wasn't.
It can be overpowering.
It could be overpowering.
And that's where you're coming from when you like to add your garlic later.
It's my favorite thing to do is just add garlic last.
Yeah.
Now, there's a couple of recipes that you do want to add
I've
the garlic
seen you
first.
do that.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
There's some. But something like this, I like the flavor of garlic. I like the flavor of fresh herbs because that's why I save it for the end.
Yeah.
Now, I could add all the herbs, everything together, cook it, and done with.
Yeah. But you're looking for a finish. Okay.
So we added our thyme.
Okay.
We're going to add our oregano, fresh. You can use dry.
If you get your kids in the kitchen and you start cooking with these fresh ingredients like that, they're going to pick up on these aromas.
They are. And you know, my nieces, my little girl, they enjoy cooking with me at home.
Yeah. I can see why.
And then the thing about it is, it's a fun thing to do with the family because, you know, you want the kids to maybe clean the green beans while you're doing all. Everybody does something.
Yes.
You put it together, and everybody enjoys it on the table.
Yes.
And trust me that even the spinach, when you have them, you know, clean the spinach or pick the green beans or you know break the broccoli down, they enjoy it.
All of
They'll
a
eat
sudden-
it because they participated in it.
Yeah, all of a sudden they're not afraid of a green
not.
vegetable.
They're
Yeah.
not, so
Yeah.
smell that. That's so good.
Smells
Then I
wonderful.
add a pinch, right, of pepper.
Yeah,
Pepper's always
yeah.
good.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
I love pepper. Pinch of salt. Okay. And then parsley. I like parsley.
If you'll notice, you
Nice
never
color
see
to it.
a chef salting food at the table. It's because if you made it right, it doesn't need salt.
It doesn't need salt.
Yeah.
But it's always, you know, people have different tastes. So,
Yeah.
you know, always taste it. We're going to taste this.
Yeah.
That's good. Remember, we got cheese here. It's got salt, sodium. This is nice. You taste the...
The herbs. Onion.
Okay?
Perfect.
So we're good with that.
Perfect.
Now, here comes the fun part of it.
All right.
While that's going, we have our polenta here.
Yeah.
Now, I'll let it cool down a little bit, okay, Tim?
Yeah.
Let me get this out of the way. Because I'm going to use my... Okay. This is good just by itself.
Yeah, you could have that just as a side dish.
Now, there's two ways to doing this. And one of them is, like, again, you can spread it out. Or you can use a pastry bag or, you know, Ziploc bag.
Okay. Okay.
I chose this time to do a pastry bag.
All right. So you're actually going to pipe this.
I'm going to pipe it just because, you know, it's an easier way to have
Yeah.
fun.
Yeah.
And, you know, a lot of people the other day when we had our cooking said, you know, they enjoy working with pastry bags because
Yes.
you get creative with it.
Yes.
So that's what we're going to do.
Okay.
Now, I have my pan here.
Okay.
I sprayed a little bit of oil on it, okay?
All right.
Now, what I'm going to do, excuse me for 1 second,
Yeah.
I am going to put a little bit in the bottom.
Okay.
Why am I going to do that? So the polenta doesn't stick. It'll be easier to serve,
Okay.
okay? So we're going to put a little bit there.
So it's literally just a little.
Just a little bit.
Just a little.
And then I am going to grab... Now, be careful. This cooled down a little bit. So be careful also because it does get real hot, and you don't want it too hot on a plastic bag because it's going to break on you.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right, so you got to be very careful though.
Okay.
But like I said, it's fun. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to drizzle it like
just
that.
gonna
We're gonna
create
spread
a
it
layer,
out.
huh?
Yeah, we're going to spread it out in a minute. I just want to create a nice little layer.
Doesn't have to be perfect.
No, because well, I'm going to grab this spoon right here, and I'm
Yep.
just going to
kinda
smooth it
work
out
it
a
a
little bit,
little
okay?
Okay.
Now, if you don't mind, I'm going to give you this spatula and go ahead and pour the beef.
Okay. Okay.
And see, that looks so good. While you do that, I am going to get my bag ready for the next one.
I'm just smelling these herbs as we do this, and those fresh mushrooms. Well, you know, Chef Manny, I really was never a mushroom eater. In fact, my daughter Claire, we had a pizza, and I ordered mushrooms, and she said, "Dad, I thought you didn't like mushrooms." Well, I didn't used to like mushrooms until I started cooking with you, and all of a sudden, I'm seeing how much they can contribute to a dish. How's that look, Chef Manny?
Looks wonderful.
Okay.
I'm going to go ahead and layer this one.
Okay.
Now, let me tell you, polenta, you can make as much as you want because if you have leftover, like I said, spread it on a sheet.
Yeah.
Let it cool down, and you can cut it in squares and then bake it off or grill it next weekend. You're doing the grill?
You could put it on the grill.
Oh, definitely.
Okay.
Cut squares, cut circles,
Okay.
whatever you like, and just go ahead and grill them. So that'll...
I'm just going to
Go
kind
ahead
of
and
spread
spread
this
it
out a
out,
little
yes.
bit. Okay.
There you go. Just like we did
Is
earlier.
that okay?
Beautiful.
All right. So we're making a polenta lasagna.
And I'll tell you what, when we do this class next week,
Yes.
I bet everyone's going to enjoy this one.
You know, some people may not know that Memorial Cooking Innovations has been invited to attend a seminar. We're like the guest speakers at a seminar at Stephen F. Austin. It's for area mental health workers. And so they wanted us to come and teach their mental health workers about healthy eating.
And we're looking forward to it. We're going to do a couple of techniques and talk about nutrition and how to work with foods and fats and stuff like
Finish
that.
that off?
Yeah, put it all in there. Just put it all in there. It'll be great.
Okay.
And then we're going to top it off with a little Parmesano.
Okay.
Beautiful. If you don't mind, let me borrow this.
Okay.
We're going to spread out a little bit. Okay.
There we go. Good.
And then we're going to add a little Parmesan cheese.
Oh, this is beautiful.
And then we're going to bake it, okay, Tim?
How can this not taste good?
It smells so good.
You have so many flavorful
We could
ingredients.
just eat it like
in
this.
Yes, you
We
could.
So I'm going to go ahead and throw it in the oven, Tim. We'll wait a few minutes.
Okay.
Well, Tim, we cooked it for, I guess, 20 minutes.
Okay.
So I think it's ready.
All right.
Let me pull it out right here real quick.
Well, you know, Chef Manny, with this dish, this polenta lasagna, one of the things we've learned today is that we should take risks. We should try some different things. And as we develop our cooking skills and practice, look what comes out.
This is wonderful,
beautiful.
huh?
Okay.
So we can see that. Well,
and
I'm gonna go ahead and plate it for us.
We also learned today that making your own salad dressings, you can control the sodium and balance the flavors, and it's a lot less expensive. And these salad dressings that you make in a tight-fitting lid in the refrigerator, they'll last a long time. Would you say a month, maybe?
Well, I don't think it'll last that long because you'll like it so much that you're going to use it up.
So. That's right. That's right.
I mean, like I said earlier, you can marinate chicken. You can marinate just about anything with it. So that's a nice thing. Today we're having a nice little salad. Tomorrow we're marinating the chicken with it.
Yep. Yep.
So one very important thing that I want to mention is when we marinate the chicken, you got to throw away that dressing.
Throw away that dressing.
So the best bet is to use little, put it in a Ziploc bags overnight, and it's ready for tomorrow.
Okay.
But don't try to use that
for something else.
Don't use it.
You've had raw chicken.
It's done once.
And also, we'd like to thank our friends at the City of Lufkin who film and produce our show and distribute it all across Texas. And so thank you guys. Appreciate you all. Oh, that's beautiful. You balance your flavors.
Look at that. That is so good.
Beautiful.
Smell that. Fresh herbs.
Okay, I'm getting hungry. Making
little Parmesan
some art right there. Yeah.
Top it off with the little fresh herbs.
Maybe, yes, some green right there. So when you make this homemade salad dressing, you have something that is not just a canned product, and it has fresh herbs. Those fresh herbs have more nutrients in them.
The good thing about it is that you can control the sodium.
Yes.
You can control what you put in it.
Balance the flavors.
Balance the flavor.
Yeah.
And another thing is that you don't want it to last, a couple of months in your refrigerator.
Yeah.
You want to use it as much as you can because you're enjoying it. So
yes.
Something like this is great. The salad is unbelievable. So.
And this is a perfect example of National Nutrition Month celebrating colors in food. Look at all the different colors in
red,
this.
yellow, brown, green, name it, it's there.
And we learned that the more colorful food is, the more nutrient dense it is, so the healthier it is for us. Chef Manny, you've done it again. We've got a wonderful meal here, so all we need is a bottle of Chianti. Did you bring the Chianti?
That was your job.
I thought you were going to bring.
No, I brought this.
Okay, so next time I guess I'll bring the Chianti.
You'll bring the Chianti.
Okay. Well, join us next time on Memorial Cooking Innovations as we continue our adventure in food and fun.